Burbank food and drink fair. Okay.
Yeah. So, at the point that you're filming, how are things with Cassie and Adam and that little love triangle with Diana?
Everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know.
It's gotten very, it's gotten deeper and more complex, obviously, since the episodes that have aired. It speaks a lot to Cassie's moral structure that she feels very guilty about what she's come in and sort of created, this trouble in paradise, as it were, for Diana and Adam. And I think that says a lot about her. And neither she or I are wanting this particularly. We just kind of can't help it. And also in the episodes now, we've really, got to delve into who Diana and Adam are as a couple, what their history is, what do they really like together. Because if we don't know that, then what's the point of even us fighting for it? You know what I mean? So it's definitely gotten more complex, but also I would say very heavy and sad, quite tragic at this point.
So when it comes to faith and free will, how much power do they have at this point?
Adam and Cassie?
Yeah.
Well, their free will is to keep doing this. You know what I mean? But it's when they're in each other's presence, it's a fate thing, right? It's a power. So I don't think it'll ever go away. It's just sort of a question of how much can we keep it at bay, keep the beast at bay.
Well, we've seen their connection and their electricity obviously generate some powerful,
literally.
literally generate some powerful magic. So far, are we going to be seeing any more of a physical expression of the non-human kind?
Between the two of them?
Between the two of them, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the great thing is now we're in a position where now, we bound the circle in episode 2. Hi. We bound the circle in episode 2, and since then, there's a lot of great group power, couples going off doing their own thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Cassie and Adam definitely, but theirs is particularly strong. But what becomes the question is it just that it's the two of us particularly, or is it also that it's particularly Cassie?
You were saying that, the group's kind of going off. Are you getting to work with any of the other characters more?
Yes, and a joy for all of us is that now, by this point, episode 8, we're shooting, we've all gotten to mix. I actually, the other day, was filming a scene with me, Faye, and Diana, which was us in a car, and I was like, we all turned to each other like, this is the first time this trio has ever had a scene like just the three of them. And it's great too because these characters are so specifically written and so different from each other, and they've gotten even more different from each other as we've gone along, that every time you get to do a scene with for the first time or whatever, it's always a new experience to sort of imagine how they'd react to that.
Now your TV dad, he had the whole written in the stars aspect as well. So have you been able to film any scenes with Adam where it's kind of that father-son, bonding discussion of talking about relationships?
Well, we've gotten a lot to do together in the rest of the show, which I really like, and I think it speaks volumes about my father and myself, the story that we've gotten to sort of follow. And it turns out basically, this I can reveal, it turns out basically that, this is something I've heard from my father my whole life. So I knew this when she arrived, but of course didn't necessarily believe it.
Right.
It's got a drunk dad who rambles. So now, of course, I do. But there also becomes a layer of resentment from me as to, well, if my father felt this way so much about Amelia, then how did he feel about my mother? Do you know what I mean? And that sort of starts to fray a little bit in our relationship.
There's no possibility he could be Cassie's father, is there?
There's an absolute possibility.
Oh, no.
That has not been, as of now, I'm not lying to you, it has not been presented or set forth in any way, but I think, all of us up here on the crew and cast were like, what if he's her dad? I like that we who'd make the show, we like to sort of try and come up with theories about what's going on, because we literally get the script a day before we start shooting.
How awkward would that make it? Is Adam and Cassie's relationship to the point where that would just be wrong, or?
I think it's a whole other show if we get into that territory. But you can also ask yourself, if he was supposed to be with Amelia, then why am I supposed to be with her daughter? Because then it's all one big happy family.
Right.
So we don't.
And he's still with Diana at this point anyway.
Exactly.